Thank you very much for joining. We're joined here by Charles Adam from ZeroCarbon Project. They're using blockchain to help reduce carbon in the atmosphere and get people and businesses converted to energy-friendly options or carbon-friendly energy options with the proof of exactly what is happening using blockchain. Big thanks also to Tracr for supporting this Tech for Sustainability series. They're a connected value chain platform for the diamond industry, working to ensure consumer trust in the diamond industry and provide provenance, traceability and authenticity of natural diamonds and help the local economies where they're mined. So anyone can find out more at community.tracr.com. That's tracr.com. So big thanks to them for supporting the series. And Charles, thank you for joining us. To everybody who has joined.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'll just get my slides. But no, it's a privilege to be this side of the camera. Normally I'm watching the webinars, whether it be tech for sustainability or more crypto blockchain focused. So no, it's great to be here. I'll start with a brief introduction into myself, how I found myself working for the ZeroCarbon project and in the blockchain space, before diving into the origins of the project, how we actually use blockchain to tackle climate change, before looking into some of our exciting plans for the future. So I found myself getting into blockchain in about 2013, 2014. I wasn't a big believer at the time. I heard about this mining Bitcoin. I thought I was a reasonably introverted, technology passionate teenager. So I thought, oh, I know, if I can make money in my bedroom without speaking to a single other person, then that would be the dream. But after I bought a book on blockchain and I was reading about Libya actually at the time, and Gaddafi just turned off all the banks in a single day with the flick of a switch. And then I was like, oh, there's a need. And that was kind of my first light bulb moment. And I've had not just a couple, I've had loads and loads since that time. So no, it's great to be able to match my passion for sustainability with my passion for blockchain, and that's exactly how I found myself for helping launch the ZeroCarbon project. I met the team at the project launch in 2017, 2018, and at a Wild West crypto conference, they stood out like sore thumbs because they were wearing suits and kind of very. They easily had the most business acumen, and that appealed to me. So I'll dive straight in. The ZeroCarbon project is a Beyond Group initiative. Beyond Group is a more traditional climate action business. It's been based in Chiswick, London for just over 20 years. I think they're up to 36 energy consultants, so kind of very seasoned energy veterans. Love delving into the energy detail. And it's really, when I look at Beyond and its growth over the last 20 years, the thing that sticks out to me is that the innovations which have really powered the revenue growth have all revolved around bringing transparency to the energy market. And that really not only aligns with kind of the ZeroCarbon project and its mission, but it really aligns with blockchain's underlying principles. We have a market-leading client base, ranging from big councils, cinema chains, charities. I'm sure there are some familiar logos on the screen, all the way down to SMEs. We have a couple hundred of GP practices, dental practices. We also have a couple hundred pubs that are clients of ours, and it's been a sobering experience helping the pubs. Energy suppliers have not been the nicest to them, but it's been nice to really help out with them in any way we can. And it was while servicing these clients 4 or 5 years ago, did Beyond actually realise over half of the energy procurement auctions that they were running, renewable energy was the cheapest option. And there was this realisation of over half the time, without anyone requesting it, renewable energy is coming up the cheapest in the UK. Why don't more people know about this? Why aren't more people switching? We've also won a host of awards, both Beyond Group and ZeroCarbon Project. And the main takeaway from this slide isn't that we've won a host of awards. It's mainly that we've been recognised by kind of experts in their field, not just in the sustainability region, but in the energy region. We can go toe to toe with energy companies which don't have any preference over brown or green energy, and we can come out on top. We can go toe to toe with other crypto companies at crypto conferences, and our innovation using the blockchain can come out top. And I think this really lends us with some serious credibility. So this is really the founding principle of the project, is that, you know, we realized the quickest way you can make a difference today is by switching your home or your business to cleaner energy. You could invest in solar panels, you could invest in a wind turbine for your home or business. Both would be fantastic investments, but both would have a negative impact on the planet before they started having a positive one. Whereas if you switch your home to renewable energy, you will start to have an immediate impact on the planet. So then the question changed, how can we speed up this transition? How can we get more people to switch to cleaner energy? And how can we make them switch as fast as possible? There are existing barriers. People are concerned about climate change now. You may have heard briefly at the beginning, but this is one of the first times I haven't presented with slides on climate change, a very stereotypical startup presentation. You start with the problem, but people are over the hump now. I think businesses and consumers, they're aware of the problem and they want to do their part to help. But they're worried. They're worried that green energy is more expensive. They may have heard stuff like, it's twice the price. And they're like, oh, they're worried enough as it is with COVID or whatever it may be that's pressing their business at the time. And they're just worried it's going to be too much. Or they worry that their small contribution won't make a difference. A pub I previously mentioned, they're a good example. A pub landlord, a publican will have hundreds of things they're in control of. They'll be in control of everything from ordering straws to making sure their staff are working in a safe environment, and energy is not at the top of that list. So they think, I'm only a small pub, I'm not going to make that big of a difference. It's fine, it doesn't matter. We need to break through these barriers, or we need to remove them. And that leads quite nicely onto our three-part solution to tackling climate change. The first, and probably the most important, is cleaner energy for less. Cost is still the number one deciding factor when people come to pick their energy contract. So we need to make sure that when people pick the cheapest energy contract, that the cheapest one is a clean energy contract. We are having longer and more in-depth conversations with everyone we speak to about the flavors of green energy, the options that are available to them. But the reality is that, especially for the largest energy consumers in the UK, when the energy options get slapped down on the FD's desk, he will pick the cheapest one. So we need to make sure that when people pick the cheapest one, that one is a beneficial contract for the planet. We also need to appeal to the mainstream. I'll touch on all of these in more depth, but we need to have a solution to everyone. If we just move crypto enthusiasts or Bitcoin maximalists over to clean energy, we're not going to have the impact on the planet that we want to have and that we need to have. And we need rewards for tackling climate change. It really annoys me that for the past 20, 30 years, people that have been trying to help tackle climate change have actually been punished for trying to help. They've been punished through a loss of time, a loss of energy, a loss of finances. Traditionally, if you wanted to go for the cleanest energy contract, that's going to be significantly more expensive. So we need to switch this around, and these people need to be rewarded. So let me delve into a bit more depth and show you, how do we provide zero carbon energy for less? It definitely sounds like something that's easier said than done. On our platform, we have 32 energy suppliers live at the moment, and we're adding more all the time. And these 32 energy suppliers compete in a fully transparent marketplace. They can see each other's prices, they can see if they're coming out on top. And these are only zero carbon energy suppliers. And it's this intense competition between these 32 energy suppliers which drives prices down and allows us to deliver the end consumer with very competitive energy contracts with savings. But it's one thing me saying that we can deliver savings and then actually delivering them. Luckily, we've used our technology and we've proven that it works. Knight Frank is probably the most recognizable name on this slide. And we managed to save them £1 million on their energy bill and reduce their CO2 emissions by 56,000 tonnes. Now, both of those numbers are important. You need both of them. We need to be able to prove to businesses that we can improve their bottom line by moving them to cleaner energy. And we also need to actually have that impact on the planet. Salford City Council, we reduced their energy bill by 13%. Now, 13% is a huge amount. And now Salford City Council can use that money to either invest in energy efficiency measures or invest in schooling. The possibilities are endless. But we need to prove to people that these savings are real. We're not just saying them. So I've shown that we can deliver the cleaner energy for less. Now on to appeal to the mainstream. What do I really mean by appeal to mainstream? In my mind, there's two main parts to it. The first is we need a solution for every consumer. Salford City Council have different demands than a pub, and a pub has different demands to a household. We need a solution for each and every single one of these. And that solution needs to be accessible. We can't require people to program a smart contract in order to access these savings and these environmental energy options. We need it to be as easy as possible. The path of least resistance needs to be a path to cleaner energy. We can't require people, connect MetaMask to our site in order to switch energy suppliers. This is what it looks like at the moment. It is live and working. The B2C site looks hopefully quite familiar. It looks quite familiar to the other energy switching sites that are out there. It looks familiar to comparison websites. The highest savings at the top and the lowest savings at the bottom. Although most people we do expect just to select the top one with the highest savings, we do add a lot of extra information in there. There are other stuff which appeals to people. An example which I always like to say of a friend of mine in Scotland, who's always keen to remind me that Scottish wind turbines have a much quicker payback time and are more efficient than English ones. So you can scroll down and select a Scottish wind power, and he's happy to pay a small premium to support that. But all of these energy options are zero carbon. The B2B site looks slightly different. Every business wants a bit more attention than consumers do. I think a utopian world of them just picking the cleanest and greenest energy contracts, they're going to need some advice and they're going to need some help. And this is why we set up a bespoke reverse energy auction for each individual business. Now, what is an energy reverse auction? It works just like eBay, but in reverse. On eBay, you have different parties, different people. They bid each other's prices up for an object, and then someone ends up paying usually a little more than they hoped for something. But on our site, the suppliers bid down each other's margins, and you can see this happen live. And just like how someone on eBay ends up paying a little bit more than they hoped, in our auctions, generally the suppliers end up charging a little bit less than they'd hoped. And this is really a revolutionary product in the energy marketplace. I'm sure some of you have had to deal with energy brokers in the past, and you get sent a vague looking Excel spreadsheet with a couple of energy suppliers and the costs associated to each one. But with this auction, you can watch live. It's probably about as interesting to watch as an eBay auction, but you can see these 32 energy suppliers bidding and then rebidding just for your business, whether that be an SME or whether that be as large as a council or someone like Knight Frank. And consumers like this, businesses like this, they're used to this very opaque, vague process to pick their energy supplier. Being able to see the prices all these energy suppliers are willing to pay and watch it in live time, it really appeals to them. And once again, of course, these are all clean energy options. We also have a hybrid architecture. We can't have people needing to use a crypto wallet to switch energy suppliers. So we have a very normal standalone site that can interact with our very complicated token economy. And I do believe keeping these separate to some extent is very crucial. We need to obscure all this crypto language, that only crypto natives can understand. And people need to be able to value the rewards without understanding the underlying technology. We do use the Ethereum blockchain at the moment. We are blockchain agnostic, although we have become quite fond of Ethereum and the Ethereum community over the last couple of years. But if the migration to Ethereum 2.0 isn't successful, we will migrate to another blockchain. We haven't been too at mercy to the high gas costs as other projects have, as we're able to do a lot of the transactions off blockchain on the site. But it would be great to have a full audit trail on a blockchain. That's definitely coming from a blockchain person. So hopefully I haven't spoken too much about the blockchain rewards yet. I've been able to show that we can provide cleaner energy for cheaper than is out there at the moment. We can also do it for everyone, consumers and businesses. But the rewards are, you could call them the incentive for people to tackle climate change. And it would be nice if this incentive wasn't needed. I would love if we could go to businesses and say, look, here's the cleanest energy and we can save you money. And they go, fantastic, where do I sign? But unfortunately, it's not as simple as that. And I think, if some statistics go to illustrating some of the problems in the energy market, it's these from Ofsted and the government. There are tens of millions of people in the UK which could be saving hundreds of pounds a year on their energy bill. And they're not switching. They know that these savings are available to them and they're not switching. Why, you may ask? I think it's a combination of they don't think it's worthwhile to go through all this pain and agony to switch energy suppliers. And the suppliers are painful to deal with. It's very similar to my phone bill. I know Vodafone are ripping me off every month, but the amount that they're ripping me off, I think it'd be more painful for me to ring up and have to deal with Vodafone. And we need to take this pain away from them. And this is one of the core differences of our site compared to a comparison website, is we don't send you to SSE's website to complete your energy contract. You press switch now on our site and our back end does all of that. You can just sit back and wait for the emails from the energy suppliers to hit your inbox. And the scary thing about these figures is that I think that there aren't accurate figures for the businesses in the UK. But I think businesses, and especially public sector, they're getting an even worse deal than households are at the moment. So I think this is why our reward is needed. We call it the catalyst for change. I'd use harsher language, so it's a kick up the backside for people. They need dragging through, getting over this hump. We can switch you to another energy supplier without it being a painful process. We can switch you to a cleaner energy supplier without it being a painful process, and we can unlock all of these savings for you. So we're rewarding people with this token. We call it ZeroCarbon Coin, our own token. But what is it? Why does it have value? Why do people want to earn it? Well, when we switch someone to a new energy supplier, be a business or a household, we get paid a commission. But we don't take this commission in dollars or pounds like a normal site would. Instead, we take it in our token, in ZeroCarbon coins. Now, this enables us to do some really clever things with our token economy, such as we have some anti-pump and dump mechanisms built into our token economy. But it also enables us to create this coin whose value is linked to effectively the success of our site. We can reward people with a stake in the upside of our project. So what happens, so energy suppliers have to pay a commission, they pay it in our token. They don't actually pay it straight to us, they pay it into a smart contract. It's quite a simple smart contract. All we do is tell it to put 70% back into a locked reward pool. All that does is we have a fixed supply of tokens. And we want to make sure that if someone's out there is switching to zero carbon energy, we want to make sure that they're rewarded for doing so. So that does 70% every time into the locked reward pool to make sure that we can sustainably pay out these rewards. And the 30% comes to us. That's our bottom line. That's how we pay our operational costs. There is also a small 2.5% burn that's built into our 30% as well, which has another anti-pump and dump mechanism built into it. as well as, hopefully adding just to the concrete value of the zero carbon coins. Consumers who earn it, they have a choice. They can, they can either hold on to it and earn extra rewards, because by holding on to these zero carbon coins, you are helping tackle climate change, or you can sell it and get money off your energy bill. It's the big thing that we're working on at the moment. Is just a very simple button that anyone can press, and these rewards will just add up to money off your next energy bill. So people who have never heard the word cryptocurrency, if they see £50 off their next energy bill, hopefully that will make some sense to them. But there's other things that I think we need the token, our zero carbon for as well. These are the flavors of green energy that we have on our site. Nuclear energy, we know, is it's an incredibly emotive energy type. It is technically zero carbon, but it's very decisive, and we're aware of that. So straight after you put in your postcode, there's a box of whether you'd like to include nuclear energy or not. Carbon neutral energy, I think, if anyone in the world was using carbon neutral energy at the moment, we would be leaps and bounds ahead of where we are at the moment. But it's not a long-term solution to climate change. In 50 years, we're going to need people further up. We're going to need them on the renewables, the green moments, and the self-supply end of the spectrum. We've always said that the best kilowatt hour is one that you either don't use or you generate yourself. So we need people towards the right end of this spectrum. And even renewable energy in the UK, it'd be great if everyone was using renewable at the moment, but it's not as good as people think it is. It's effectively offset energy. The best way to illustrate this is, I'm sure, some of you are signed up to a solar energy supplier, maybe Bulb or So Energy. And you think, oh, well, I'm using 100% solar energy. But then you can turn your lights on, you can turn your heating on, you can watch Netflix all at night when the sun isn't shining. And you don't have batteries installed in your attic. The national grid doesn't have a big building of batteries at the end of your road storing this solar energy. What happens is that the solar provider provides a bit more during the day, and then at night you take energy from somewhere else, most likely gas, and this is offset, which is better than what most people are doing at the moment, but that is not a solution to climate change in the long run. And it was off the back of this that we launched our Green Moments supply contract, which we believe is the greenest energy possible in the UK. And what that is it matches renewable energy demand with usage every 30 minutes of the day. So if it's not sunny, we can get wind energy. If it's not windy, we can get hydro or geothermal, or we can use green gas or one of the other options, and we will match this every point of the day. But as with most good things in the world, Green Moments comes with a cost. And at the moment, it's about a 7% premium to a normal energy contract. We hope that this will come down in the future, but we need to get people onto this Green Moments energy. And I think the best way of doing it is by offering them more rewards. So we will give people 4 times the rewards if they use Green Moments energy compared to other types of energy. And we have other, bonus rewards for people who, will use self-supply, will use, who will install solar panels. We have extra rewards for these as well. I think this is it's a great example to use, because at the moment, 4 times rewards will equal it will go to about 4-5% of the way. So that 7% premium gets chunked down to a 2-3% premium. And hopefully in the long run, we can cancel that premium altogether. So we can lure people in with the promise of really cheap renewable energy. And then once they're using cheap renewable energy, they go, oh, these zero carbon coins, I've just sold them for 50 quid. They're actually worth something. And then when they see that we're offering 4 times rewards for Green Moments, they think, actually, that's not as expensive as it looks on the face of it, because I'm getting these rewards. So that's hopefully shown how we can provide zero carbon energy for less, as well as we can do that for everyone, a big energy consumer or small energy consumer. And I've shown not only why our rewards are needed, but why they have value, and why you want to earn some zero carbon coins by switching to cleaner energy. I've also mentioned some of our more direct competitors at the moment are the use switchers, the Go Compares of the world, but they have no preference over green or brown energy. all they care about is the oil switching energy providers. And we need a plan to take customers off them and to get people switching to clean energy instead. And I think our custodian marketing plan is really quite an innovation, actually. I think it manages to not only create an effective marketing and sales channels for us, but it solves a lot of problems that are existing not just for the energy market, but for loads of people out there at the moment. And in effect, it will involve us. It's a hard sell to get someone to switch their energy providers. If I ring up a good friend of mine and say, look, ZeroCarbonProject.com, that's the way to go. They go, okay, Charles, I trust you. Send me your referral link, and off I go. But if I just bump into someone on the street and say, oh, you've got to go, got to go and switch your energy here, they're probably not going to trust me. But so we need to get to someone that they do trust. And taking the Crypto Curry Club as an example, the Crypto Curry Club could have a white labeled version of our site. So it would work just the same, but instead of our logo and color schemes, it would have theirs. And now, not only Crypto Curry Club is able to have, join the fight against climate change, it's able to, switch their community members who trust Erica, trust the Crypto Curry Club, but maybe don't trust me, don't trust the Zero Carbon project. And also allows these white label partners to earn revenue, earn a recurring revenue, a passive income from tackling climate change. We're in discussions with some large corporations, and they're definitely more interested in the environmental credentials that this will give them rather than the revenue. But the people who I think that this can really revolutionize are the micro influencers, whether it be YouTubers, blog writers, Instagrammers, no matter how they've built their community. I think it really hits two birds with one stone. These people have built the most engaged communities, the most loyal fan bases out there, and they lack any monetization options other than maybe Patreon or stuff like that. And we can give these people an ability not only to monetize these communities, monetize these fan bases, but to do so tackling climate change. They will only earn revenue for switching someone to a clean energy supplier. So I think it's an absolutely fantastic way. And we've already had initial custodians already lined up. We're hoping to launch this in the upcoming quarter, and we're seeing some quite serious interest in it, which is great. This is also, one of the reasons this is a particularly exciting presentation is that it's not only that it's for the Crypto Curry Club, but this is the first time I've presented Zero Carbon Project since we became part of the E-Energy Group. And the E-Energy Group, it's not only great to have all of this credibility and legitimacy and a PLC backing a blockchain company, but there's been something that that has been missing in my mind, at least. Like I said, we've always said that the best kilowatt hour is the one that you either don't use or you generate yourself. So now we were able to integrate all of E-Energy's energy efficiency measures as well. So not only can we help you get the cheapest, cleanest energy, but we can help you use less of it, which is really the only true way of cutting down your energy bill in the long run, is by using less energy. So a good example of that is we can, if you have a business or a school, and you say, I'd love to be able to revolutionize our lighting, get really energy efficient, environmentally friendly lighting, but I just don't have the £100,000 capital investment I need to do that. We can now sort stuff out like that for you with zero upfront capital investment, which should hopefully, or at least in my mind, puts that last piece in the jigsaw puzzle. We can get you using the cleanest energy in the UK, and then we can get you using as little of that energy as possible. Well, thank you very much for having me, and thank you for listening. I'll remind you that we are live today. So if you're a business or a consumer and you'd like to see the savings available to you while switching to cleaner energy, do sign up online. Send me a message if you'd like an energy consultant to sit down and have a discussion with you. And make sure you sign up with a referral code, as you'll get, I think, 3 times the amount of rewards as otherwise.
Thank you very much, Charles, for that. We've got a load of questions come through for anyone who joined a little bit late. Any questions, please do pop them just in the Q&A or any comments in the chat. Also, to kick off with some questions for you, a few from Joe, around, first of all, how you certify provenance using blockchain, but also because there's been so much greenwashing, of course, around energy and around the renewable energy guarantees or origins. How do you get around that and prove exactly what is happening?
So we don't record the actual energy transactions on the blockchain, at least yet. And we still use the energy suppliers who are using it. And the greenwashing is a problem. I do think it's a problem. And that's really what the green moments energy, that's one of the big things that solves, is that you're buying energy as it's being produced in the UK. So greenwashing becomes, although I don't think impossible, very, very, very close to. And it is a big problem at the moment. And this is why it's a tough sell, because you have to convince people to change their energy supplier and go on to a cleaner energy contract. And then all the kind of comments about greenwashing come out, and it adds to the, oh, should I bother, shouldn't I? Mm-hmm. And I do think people should press on, start signing up. There are energy contracts out there which aren't subject to it. But no, at the end of the day, unfortunately, we have to take the energy suppliers, not their word for it, but we don't take them to any more stringent messages. And this is why I think displaying the information to the consumers is important, so they're aware of this when they're picking an energy contract, as at the moment a lot of people are not.
Mm-hmm. One question coming through around that: if you're only using green and clean suppliers, how will the user know that these are cheaper than the non-green suppliers? Or is the point that you're looking at choosing the sort of the cheapest and greenest of the green ones?
So if I've mentioned some names like British Gas, who aren't traditionally a clean energy supplier, like someone like Bulb, and we do have those listed on our site. And what happens at the moment is that if one of those comes up cheapest, is that we will buy the carbon credits so that it becomes carbon neutral or carbon offsets. At the moment, carbon credits do suffer from some problems, but at the moment the carbon credits that we're buying are from a wind farm project, and I think carbon credits really do fulfill a purpose over the next 5 years, maybe a bit longer. But I don't think they're a long-term solution to climate change. I think that they definitely play a role in the tackle.
And do you then tell people that they're using British Gas, which is in a way supporting and using carbon credits?
They will see exactly on the screen. So kind of on the B2C screen that I showed, all of this information will be displayed there. You'll see exactly what energy supplier it is, exactly what energy type it is, whether it's Scottish wind as the example I think I gave, or whether it's carbon credits.
Okay, thanks. One question from David. Two questions. What is your thoughts about the role that blockchain could be playing in energy going forward in the shared economy, and also your opinion about ethos from the Apple co-founder? I mean, I remember to tag onto that question. There was a project, I don't remember the name, it was an East European project that they were just linking energy producers of renewable energy directly with the end users and just cutting out the middleman, using tokenization to do that, and ended up saving about 30% of all energy costs just by cutting out the middleman. Is that something where you could see blockchain as realistically going?
100%. Peer-to-peer energy is something that we've looked very closely at, and it's something which a lot of blockchain projects, WePower and Power Ledger, they were big 2017 ICOs. I think they both raised about between $20 and $40 million each. Mm-hmm. And we think peer-to-peer, I have it in that kind of on-site generation side. Mm-hmm. I think it plays a big role to play, and it will do in the future, but we're about 5 years out from it being a realistic option. So a good example would be, in London, if every house or most houses had solar panels, we'd be able to trade it and sell it amongst our street. Mm-hmm. But at the moment, people just don't have there isn't the infrastructure existing, and the cost savings would be immense. At the moment, for a business energy contract, only 40% of the cost is actually the energy. The rest of it is the distribution costs and taxes. Mm-hmm. National Grid takes a massive chunk of that. And then the taxes, which I'm not opposed to because the vast majority of them are climate change related, play a huge role in the cost. So yeah, stripping at least most of those out would make energy a huge amount cheaper. But no, I just think it's at least a couple of years out, and kind of our plan would be to get a bit more established, get people familiar with switching, and then when it becomes viable, we'll have the incentives there ready to make sure that we can take advantage of it.
A few technical questions from Gyro about the platform, the blockchain platform that you're using. I think a few questions around why Ferian, which isn't necessarily the most efficient overhead-wise. Have you thought about looking at Hedera Hashcraft, where you can still create your own tokens for? So disclaimer on Gyro's behalf, he works for Hedera Hashcraft, but still an interesting question. Why Ferian?
So when we launched 3-4 years ago, the Ethereum community was definitely the main reason we came. That the costs and the energy was maybe less of a worry, or maybe we were a bit too idealistic over the progress of Ethereum 2.0. But definitely around that time, we thought we'd be able to get a lot more initial traction with the Ethereum community using us to switch their own household supplies, their own energy that's powering miners. And the actual transactions that we have, we do offset the energy usage that they kind of incur. So I think each transaction on the Ethereum blockchain uses, it's an eighth of the, I remember it's an eighth of the consumption of Bitcoin. I can't remember exactly what that is, but it's more than you'd think in terms of kilowatt hours. We are technically blockchain agnostic, but we would be willing to move. It's just about the right kind of incentives for us. At the moment, I think our time is better spent getting businesses to switch to cleaner energy, which will have a larger impact than kind of spending our resources migrating blockchains. Because we have this hybrid infrastructure, we're able to do a lot of it off blockchain. So that becomes less of a worry at the moment. But it's definitely something. So it's 57 kilowatt hours. So that's about 1% of a household's, an average UK household's energy consumption. So an average
over what period?
A year. So an average UK household uses 5,000 kilowatt hours a year. So to think that's
quite high.
Yeah, that's about 3 days, just over 3 days energy consumption using for one transaction, and it's a big problem. And I think that people that aren't in the blockchain community, one thing I would like to say is people in the blockchain community are aware that this is a problem and do want to change it. And I think this is why the migration to Ethereum 2.0 is so important.
No, okay, thanks. Where do you see renewable energy, energy storage changing the way that we manage renewable energy?
So this is definitely a question for one of the kind of more energy experts on our team in comparison to I'm much more of a blockchain person, but kind of the way I think it's moving personally is I think it will move to much more of a peer-to-peer infrastructure. I think that storage and batteries, are going to play an absolutely massive role in that. And I do see kind of, like energy cars, electric cars, that's another big one. I think we will be able to, it won't just be these big batteries. I think we will come up with these kind of side solutions, or we will be able to benefit from these excess capacity. So, as I said, electric cars, we can turn those into moving batteries instead of having them all on top of our houses or clogging up our attics.
No, thanks. And how do you determine the right price on peer-to-peer for transactions? How do you set that?
On peer-to-peer transactions, energy transactions.
How would you do
that? So we're not doing it at the moment, but if we were doing it, I'd let the free market decide. Taking the example of our street, if someone's willing to sell the energy, someone would be willing to buy it. And as a guess, it would be a very low price because you're just going to throw that energy away or store it inefficiently. And I think this is, it's one of the things that actually with the energy consumption is why energy, so much of the blockchain consumption is from green renewable sources. Isn't because Bitcoin miners are the most environmentally friendly people on this planet. It's because all they're interested in is getting the cheapest possible energy. And when you go on the hunt for the cheapest possible energy in the world, you end up finding energy that is surplus, energy that would be thrown away otherwise. And the only kind of, the most common places where you find this surplus energy is with renewable. If you're burning coal to get energy and no one's using the energy, you stop burning coal. But if the wind turbines are going and no one's there to use it, you can't turn off the wind, and you could turn off the wind turbines, but there'd be a bit of a waste. So luckily people can swoop in there and use the excess energy for dirt cheap.
And on that note, from Edward, a question: if smaller energy providers or community energy providers could compete, would that be a realistic option to work on your platform, and how would that work to encourage the growth of local energy?
Yeah, they definitely work on our platform. So I'm not sure we have any community energy suppliers live at the moment, but we definitely have some very, very small ones. And I think, that this is the advantage of having a place where, you can add these extra incentives in, because if, just an example, but let's say a community energy project was deemed to be, as good for the environment as our Green Moments energy contract, then we could offer the same 4 times rewards. So even if these are not the cheapest energies that are available on the market at the time, we can offer something to at least offset that premium, and it may even go the other direction. So I think at the moment, if you switched, the rewards would be worth about £30 a year. So it's not close to those kind of £200-300 a year savings that the majority of households could get anyway. But if that was the premium of a community energy project, it'd be a fantastic solution to be able to feature them and show that actually we can offset the premium.
Mm-hmm. No, brilliant, thanks. And Tim's asking, now with Brexit, are there any plans to expand outside of the UK or to partner with energy trading platforms in Europe?
Definitely,
mainland Europe.
Definitely, we'd love to expand, and there's definitely some places lined up. The big thing with us is whether the country has a centralized or decentralized grid system, or places like America where it's broken up into kind of 4 or 5 different grid systems. But it could be that by the time we're able to expand internationally, the peer-to-peer energy is viable then, in which case whether there's a grid system or not wouldn't matter. But no, definitely interested.
Mm-hmm. Out of interest, in terms of companies going to you, is it mostly as a cost saving, or is it mostly because they want to be seen to be carbon neutral, or because they actually want to be carbon neutral?
I'd say there are definitely some people. There are some businesses that it all depends, I'd say, whether energy is a big cost for a business or a small cost. If you're an iron ore smelting factory, then energy is going to make up a huge percentage of your cost base, mm-hmm. in which case it's going to be all cost. But generally, I wouldn't say it's even for the companies want to be seen as being climate leaders. Mm-hmm. So it's almost, if we can sell that dream to companies, then that's going to be successful. They want to be seen as, eco warriors, no matter what they're actually doing. It's not just about helping the planet or saving money. It's all about these marketing benefits. But people now will come in and they'll talk about the green. Oh, so you have green energy, what different types? But when, as I said, most of the time, for large businesses, we'll be dealing with an energy expert or a facilities manager, but the end signatory will be the FDs, the finance directors, and that always comes down to cost, nine times out of 10. And this is why we need that cheapest energy to be a clean energy option.
Cool, no, excellent. Just last question from Jaru. As a supply company, are you paying renewable energy obligations?
So we're not an energy supplier, thankfully, so we can dodge that. Even our Green Moments is done through kind of buying energy from other suppliers rather than us ourselves. Mm-hmm.
So no, thank you so much. I think that's the end of the questions we've come to. Super interesting. So if companies are interested in saving energy or in going to more green energy, what should they do? Just reach out to you?
Yeah, head to ZeroCarbonProject.com, or you can happy to send me a message or an email, charles.adams@ZeroCarbonProject.com. Any businesses, we're happy to speak to you. Just have a no obligations chat about your energy usage. One of the exciting things about the the e-energy, and us being part of e-energy group is now we can help people use less energy, because I think that is half the battle. You know, you can do all this effort in switching people over to cleaner energy, but if you could just get them to stop using the energy in the first place, everyone's better off. And, you know, so, you know, we have some fantastic offerings now for especially, you know, maybe schools or larger businesses with lots of lighting. That's a very common way that we can help very quickly with a very high impact, with a very, you know, no upfront cost to you. So no, we have plenty of ways we can help. So feel free to get in touch.
Well, thank you very much, Fix, for joining us. Thank you to everyone for joining and asking all your questions. Rob, you've just shared your email address, so I'll be sure to share that with Charles afterwards so that he can access that and drop you a line. So thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for joining, and I'll be sending out an email address with Charles's contact details as well. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you very much, Erica.
Bye.